Hello, my name is Elena, and I'm an international student at GCU, currently studying the GS 200 program, where we basically had this project where we had to interview another person from another country so we could compare the different cultures. For this interview, I had to do some research on Indonesia, which was my country, to later come up with some questions that my partner and I would ask our host, who was Fa.
I'm Julia, and I'm an international student from Germany here at GCU, and right now I'm a freshman, and my major is psychology. The person I interviewed in this class was from the north of Iraq, which is also known as Kurdistan.
I am Sister Thongboy. I am a senior with religious study major and social work minor. I come from Vietnam.
Hi, my name is Jordan Nelson, and I'm a freshman here at Georgian Court. I'm on the women's soccer team, and for my interview, I interviewed Miss Angus Lee with Yasmin, and it was for the country Hong Kong.
My name is Faith Bennett. I'm a senior, and I'm a health profession studies major.
Hey guys, my name is Maurice Engel. I'm an international student from Germany, and I'm a business major.
Hello, my name is Stephen Out, and I interviewed Casey from Hong Kong.
My name is Ava, and I'm a psychology and elementary education major. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I interviewed Simran from Hong Kong.
Hello, my name is Asamji Louise. I am a junior at GCU, and I interviewed Fa from Indonesia.
Hi, I'm Maria Gaspajo, and in this project I've interviewed a woman from Ecuador, from the Quichua culture, named Margarita, with my classmate Faith.
Hi, my name is Yasmin Osman. I'm a first-year nursing major at Georgian Court University, and for this project I interviewed Miss Angus Lee with Jordan, and she is a resident from Hong Kong.
Hello, my name is Dakota Wright. I interviewed Casey, who is from Hong Kong, and I did my interviews with Stephen Albanese.
My name is Amira Beasley. I'm a freshman at GCU. My interviewee her name was Nikita. She was of Indian descent. Her parents are immigrants from India.
Hello everyone, my name is Jack McCarthy, and I will be talking about who I interviewed. The person I interviewed was Yukihiko Nagata. She lives and resides in Japan, basically close to Tokyo. I was assigned Tokyo, but you know, still in Japan, so.
I learned a lot about global perspectives of diversity in my host country. I did my interview with someone from the Quichua culture from Ecuador, and it was really eye-opening to see that there's so many different cultures out there, and I was learning about the cultures of Ecuador, but more specifically the different cultures inside Ecuador, how there's different cultures in every country. Every country is full of so many different cultures, which is what makes us diverse, and that's what brings us all together.
I learned that when you go to a different country, you should definitely go with an open mind. Don't judge, get rid of your stereotypes and your biases, and be respectful and enjoy the experience.
I learned that not every country has diversity in the same way the US does.
I think one thing that I learned from this class, especially from the global perspective and diversity side, was kind of not judging a book by its cover. I mean, my host country was Iraq. I interviewed Sharust Omar. And I mean, from my perspective, from Iraq was kind of violence and war and all that kind of stuff. But learning from her experience, it's kind of great in a sense and very accepting, really no violence, very open.
My interviewee taught me to open up my mentality more, and above all, to fight for what I believe in. In the Quichua culture, they are a really small population, and all of them agreed to fight for their rights and to continue maintaining their culture Quichua until today.
After interview and research on Indian culture, I learned that global perspective is different with each person, each culture, and its perspective about culture itself.
I think people in Hong Kong have a great idea of self-awareness and certain morals, while both Hong Kong and the United States place an importance of education among all.
There were a lot of benefits to this project, but I feel like one of the biggest ones was finding out information that you really can't get on the internet, just like personal questions, and just having the experience of talking to a person one-on-one.
Some benefits that I got out of this experience were learning to go into things with an open mindset, whether it be talking to new people from other countries or a new job of some sort. I also learned to better my clear communication.
I think one of the biggest benefits from this was being able to actually talk to someone and be able to hear what is actually going on in a different country instead of just assume.
Some of the benefits that I have seen throughout this experience is like knowing more about what goes on in that world, like the people that celebrate it, and everything, and religion, as well as holidays and other stuff.
Getting to know someone who is not born in the States or who is out of my bubble, which is New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, because we have similar upbringings or similar experiences in the area, but Fa, she's from Indonesia, and I got to learn all about her upbringing and just her culture.
The thing that I enjoyed the most was during the interview, listening to my interviewer's stories about her culture and share this experience with my classmate who doesn't speak Spanish. Even so, she did it so well and she was committed to this project.
My favorite thing was the interview. Hearing the experiences of my interview really opened me up to how other cultures work throughout the world.
My favorite thing I experienced was the Hong Kong virtual tours. I thought they were really interesting, although I wasn't able to make it to all of them. I just loved being able to see what it's like over there live. Yes, we see movies, yes, we see videos, but even though it was on Zoom, it was really interesting to get a personal tour of it, to see what it looks like in real life, not edited by the movies or, commercials or something like that.
My favorite part of this experience was getting the tour of Changchao Island and getting to see more of the nature side of it rather than the city side of Hong Kong, and then going into the temples and going along on Trisha's hike with her and seeing the view.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the interview was the food, because I haven't seen Chinese and Taiwanese food like this before, and I was very surprised about the infrastructure from Taipei. I think if I would show you two pictures of an European big city and Taipei, you couldn't say which one is which city, because the infrastructure is kind of the same. Taipei is very modern, what I really didn't expect.
My favorite thing that I kind of was able to learn from, or really my most surprising thing I was able to learn from Casey, was the way that Hong Kong politics were set up. It's very hard to get into it, and the way that she was able to explain it made it seem like it's a little bit unfair. So I would like to do more research on that eventually one day, and learn a little bit more about how that actually is situated.
While taking the class, I got to try dumplings for the first time, and I wound up liking them.
My favorite thing from this experience and from this course is that I got to learn a lot of things about countries that I didn't know a single thing about, and also getting the chance to interview someone that comes from so far away and from a completely different culture, and listening to her own experiences of childhood, marriage, the religions there. I found that so interesting.
I believe the biggest challenge me and Julia had throughout the interview process was really getting Sharoust on the phone. I think it was an 8-hour difference, and she works as a teacher at a private school and then does tutoring at night, and then just overall busy. She has another business, so really just getting her on the video was the hardest part.
My biggest challenge through this experience was probably communication. When planning to interview Simran from Hong Kong, it was hard to pick a time that worked best for me, my partner, and Simran. With the 13-hour time difference, it was hard to understand what time here it is in Hong Kong and like vice versa?
The interview was successful, but at the beginning, the challenge that I had to overcome was related to technology because my interviewer didn't know very well how the apps works, and it was like difficult to communicate. But finally, we did it, and it was great.
I would say my biggest challenge during this experience was scheduling the interview. I just think it was like a personal problem, obviously, for my group, my partner, my interviewee. Number one, we had the time difference. Obviously, it's a different time in Hong Kong. My partner was also a student athlete, so it was we had a schedule to work with, as well as mine. I work and I have classes, obviously, so we had to pick and choose times and dates that worked with us. And I just think it's way better. Also, tip is to definitely communicate through WhatsApp because email didn't really work out that good because there was some delay in the email, surprisingly, and also I'm sure not everybody checks their email every second of the day.
I really think that from this class, I'm going to be able to take away that don't go into something thinking that you know what you're talking about. I found that with Hong Kong, with talking to Casey, is, you know, there's a lot of things that like she kind of explained to me that, you know, it was a misconception in my mind. So I think like that's one of the biggest things I'm going to take out of this class and like use that in the future life.
I think looking towards the future, I think the skills I learned in this class will help me be a little bit more culturally sensitive as I speak to people.
To be more like aware of diversity, and it definitely helped me to be to see diversity in a more complex way, and it showed me that diversity is definitely nothing you can see at first time, and that it is so complex, and it's much more than just different nationalities and speaking another language.
So this experience taught me to open my mind even more and to want to travel so bad around the world, to know all possible cultures.
Maybe someday I will take a visit to Tokyo just to understand, just to see it in person myself. But I really was touched and moved by understanding lots of things about Tokyo, and I look forward to maybe knowing much more in the future.
I think that this experience will help me out in the future because it obviously made me have a more open mind in general about other cultures, and I always wanted to travel a lot. Ever since I was little, I would say that I was not going to college, I was just going to travel around the world. So I just think that this experience helped me bring back that old feeling, that old spark, and making me want to go travel and do things and study different cultures and stuff like that. So I just feel like that this experience is going to make me experience more things, if that makes sense.
As I said, I am a sister and work with many different religion and culture in my country. So it is important to me to understand and respect others, since this skill is necessary to me in my mission. Through this class, with experience about global diversity, I am learning and preparing for my mission with more confidence, skill, and knowledge about other cultures.
Someone, and instead of having to do it later for the first time, I did it the first time now that it's over with, and I learned a lot from it. Like, you have to ease your way into the really hard questions that we had to ask that had to do with race, discrimination, and all that.
The experiences through this class will help me in my future life with all the separate skills that I've learned. I can put together in the future. With being a teacher, you need to go in with an open mindset, and you need to communicate with different people differently. So I learned that the way you talk to someone from the United States is very different to the way you talk to someone from Hong Kong, and they interpret things differently. So you have to be open to understand where you need to come from to talk to different people. So I think this will help me in my future career with being open with people and communicating with different types of cultures.
From Georgian Court to the world!